Magotho campground is owned by the Khwai Community Trust and operated by the Khwai community. Game drives are conducted mostly along or in the vicinity of the Khwai River. The water of the river comes from the Okavango Delta and it forms the northern boundary of Botswana's Moremi National Park. Today is the second day in the Magotho area. Yesterday brought a lot of surprises, but also lots of flies, because they are looking for moisture. The area is very dry. Everything has to come to the river, which in a way for game drives is a blessing as the game and the birds concentrate at the river. So let's see what we will find today. The individual campsites are not fenced in. It is therefore not surprising to get occasionally a visit by friendly neighbors. The elephants are used to campers and don't pose a threat. A large pride of lions resting in the shade. Lions are predominantly night active. After all, they are cats. They can rest up to 20 hours to build up energy for the hunt. These are mostly young lions. One can clearly see the difference in size when this young lion settles next to an adult lioness. These are bones of a dead elephant lying next to the river. One has observed that elephants are mourning about their dead. I wonder what this elephant might be thinking when touching these bones. Somehow this elephant gets a bit angry when being watched mourning. The Hadida ibis occurs also in most areas of South Africa. The inhabitants of Johannesburg are frequently woken up very early in the morning when a flock of these birds flies over their house and scream their lungs out. The pied kingfisher is about the size of a starling, but a very effective hunter of small fish. African wild dog is probably the most successful predator in Africa. They are active during the day, which doesn't exclude that they rest during the heat of the day. The Squacco heron is one of the dwarf herons. Sitting like this with the neck retracted, one doesn't think that this neck can be stretched far out. The Kori bustard is the heaviest flying bird on Earth. A side arm of the river forms a pool occupied by hippos, where they laze about and make a lot of noise. They spend most daytime in the water. At night they leave the water and forage nearby on grassy patches. They are strictly vegetarians. The red-billed oxpeckers are always at work. They find their food exclusively on animals, starting with a small impala to the buffalo and up to the giraffe. The marabou stork is painting its legs white by letting its excrements run down its legs. The legs remain then reasonably cool when hit by the hot sun. This bird feeds on carrion like the vultures. September is the last month of a dry winter season. It is then no surprise that mother and baby feeding on the juicy green grass in the water. This elephant baby is most likely still suckling on the mother, but it seems to make good progress in eating solid food. On the way to this small island, they had to wade through the river. Judging by the wet area on its skin, the little one probably had to swim. The carcass of a dead hippo is slowly drifting down the river. It might have died a natural death, but hippo bulls are often fighting until one of them is badly injured or is killed. It still seems to move, but this is caused by crocodiles feeding from underneath the carcass. Outside of the water, some crocodiles are sleeping with full tummies, which they have filled during the night. On these plains, zebra one can see clearly the brown, so-called shadow stripe between the black stripes. The Hartmann's mountain zebra in Namibia and the Cape mountain zebra in South Africa don't have these shadow stripes. The stripe pattern of every zebra is unique, like a barcode. The fowl remembers the pattern of its mother and in this way identifies it amongst other zebras. It is believed that the stripe pattern of the zebra makes it difficult for lions to identify a single animal within a group of zebras. In Kenya, one has observed that certain flies do not attack zebras. One makes the stripe pattern responsible for this. A Tsessebe antelope drinking water. It is the fastest antelope in Africa. A troop of impalas taking a morning stroll. The rams are still young. Visible are the not yet fully developed horns. A great egret at breakfast. Today, small fish are served. It stands tall on long legs and can spot its prey from a high vantage point. Vervet monkeys foraging. The first Afrikaans pioneers also called them blauwappies due to the blue scrotum of the male monkey. They are comfortable on the ground as well as up in the trees. Mostly, however, they find their food on the ground. Red-billed oxpeckers are not deterred by the moving platform of the back of a feeding buffalo. They find ticks and parasites which bother the buffalo. Occasionally they don't even leave out the inspection of the ears and the nostrils of the buffalo. Group of waterbuck cows of varying ages. Characteristic is the white ring at their hind. Only the bulls carry horns. A young giraffe. What looks like horns are actually bone structures covered with skin and some black hair on the top. This type of parasitical relationship I have never seen before in all the years of traveling in the wilderness. A prime example is the cattle egret walking alongside large animals, hoping for insects being chased into the air by them moving their legs when walking. Here we have a sacred ibis intensely foraging for food. The great egret is the parasite, following the ibis, hoping for its movements to chase small fish or frog out of hiding, which the egret wants. For birds of prey, it is less strenuous to be carried high up into the air by hot currents, so-called thermals. However, these become available only after the sun has been heating up the ground for a while. It is therefore always better to film birds of prey in the morning while they are still sitting on trees waiting for the thermals to develop. The Bartoleur is a very colorful eagle. It is a magnificent flyer and in the morning is the first eagle to be spotted in the air. It has the ability to make use of the slightest of lifting air. Even eagles have to sit on the ground to drink water. The ground hornbill finds its food exclusively on the ground. It only flies onto a tree when disturbed or in the evening when settling down for the night.